Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we need all the iron in the world. Well, more specifically, we need 266 iron. It's a lot of iron that we need. We're working on it, we're building iron mines, and we're constructing a little faster than we were. We are running a small deficit right now, and that is in part because we lowered our taxes, but I wanted to do that very deliberately. Do we want to further sack our government wages? What's our current intelligentsia and petit bourgeoisie approval? We definitely could if we don't care about our prestige. And I'm doing it. We're going to bring those back up eventually. But for now, we need all the money we can going into our construction. So that'll be absolutely fine. What's this? Petit bourgeoisie interest group approval. Okay, sure. We're not monitoring them. I'm sure that's going to be great. I'm sure that's going to be absolutely wonderful. So the question is, are we going to get dedicated police force passed? And what do we get for that? Well, we can move up our law enforcement, which I think is still going to be a boost to the landowners' political strength, but it would reduce our state penalties from turmoil. But the most important reason why we're doing this is because of this assassination plot. Hopefully... Okay, we've got an inside tip here. So the landowners are the ones planning our assassination according to the industrialists, and honestly, that makes a lot of sense. This isn't really a surprise. So we'll drop the landowners a little bit in their clout. That sounds good. It's only about a 2% drop, and they're still going up. So, you know, that is a thing that exists. But with any luck, we'll be able to get this assassination plot prevented. Fingers crossed. But if we die, it's not the worst thing in the world. What dropped our iron here a bit? That's interesting. We're making about 30 more iron than we were. Maybe that's some sort of a market access thing? There's also a lead shortage. Okay, well, dedicated police force has gone to drafting. That's okay. And a lead shortage is not a very significant lead shortage, but we probably should build a lead mine somewhere. Rio Grande do Sul, due to infrastructure. Okay. Well, we are actually still progressing that iron mine. No, we're not. Okay, we'll do this. Okay, that'll be fine for now. Now, how far away are we from railroads? 12 months is the answer. The whaling industry has been completed. And... we don't have any whaling stations, do we? I don't think we do. Let's see here. That should be under resources, whaling stations. Actually, we have 5. But it's not that big of a deal. Let's have less mortality. That'll be okay. Both of those are good events, or good outcomes, I should say, to be honest. So that's great. We no longer have an iron shortage. The balance has dropped to 219. Trade? Perhaps? Regardless, we finished up another iron mine, and that puts us at 5K. That's a fake number. We should not expect that to be real. But plus 2K, that's not bad. So this lead mine is at minus 28% construction efficiency in Rio Grande do Sul. So this is due to turmoil. And that is, of course, due to high radicalism. Now, our radicalism is not as bad as it was. It's not great. But it's not terrible either. So that is understood. Iron is still expensive. Do we want to build this lead mine at minus 28% construction efficiency? To be honest, we don't have a shortage of lead anymore. So I'm going to drop that down, and we're going to work on our iron mines. Continuing to work on our iron mine is, I think, very useful for us. Because that will give us more headroom. Yeah, we've got that iron shortage back in Santa Cruz. Is this... Oh, this is unincorporated? Hang on. Unincorporated states. Right. We took some states. That's true. We should definitely be incorporating those. Okay, we're going to work on that. We are negative bureaucracy. That is understood. We're going to want to bring up our bureaucracy a little bit. Taxation capacity isn't really a problem. How long is that going to take to build? 17 weeks? Do it. Okay. We're going to get that done. We're going to get the iron mine, artillery foundry. We just finished up percussion caps, unlocking munitions plants and leading to rifling. So we're going to want to build a munitions plant eventually. At least one. That consumes explosives and lead. Okay, let's put that in. How about in... Let's sort by job seekers. Pernambuco? Sure. But I put that at the bottom of the list. That is a very low priority rate. So that's fine. We got an advance on our dedicated police force. That's going pretty well. Here's a question, though. How are we doing on preventing the assassination plot? We're about half done. Okay, we've not had much for events here on it recently. So we'll keep an eye on that. But we're definitely in a bit of a precarious situation here. Mostly because our economy is not strong. Our economy is very not strong. It's getting better, to be sure, but it desperately needs work. Although, we're positive in our bureaucracy now. I didn't expect that. I'm going to drop our government administration down then, and we'll work on this iron mine. We'll get this eventually. We will want it, but for now, this will do. So we have another company that we can make. And what do we want to make? Well, probably what we need more than anything is just like raw income, right? So something like the gold combine. So that would increase our minting. It wouldn't be a huge amount of income from the minting right now, but I suspect it would be pretty good later. Yeah, let's establish that. This prosperity is going to be going up, in theory, eventually. Let's keep an eye on that. Global average productivity is 8.4. Okay. So language in the classroom. Well, Amazonian students are using their native languages. Additional assimilation. Are there Amazonian pops? I thought we integrated those. Amazonian as opposed to Amazonic. Okay. Gotcha. So those are different things. How many radicals are we getting from discrimination? The answer is not many. Okay. How many Amazonian pops do we have? Sort by name here. Amazonian. So they're at 22% turmoil right now. Their political strength is 0. Their population is 187k. So 10% of their pops becoming radical would be like 18,000 radicals. That's quite a lot of radicals, to be sure. But the assimilation is probably good here, long term. So we're going to take that. We also got an advancement in medicine. We'll just appease the Brazilian British Society for now. That'll be okay. So, railroads are going to be available to us soon, but we can't really build railroads without having steel mills and motor industries done. So that is definitely something to think about. Now, I would like to go back into our journal here and check. There's been some progress towards discovering the assassination plotters. Okay. Cool. So, next what we need to do is we need to, well, what's path to liberalism here? We need census or universal suffrage. Yeah, we're not too keen on that right now. I think we will get to that fairly soon. Atmospheric engine pumps, yes, we're going to want that, and there's a lot of things that we can do to bring our economy more online, but we continue to need iron at this moment. Iron is still a significant thing. It is almost at maximum price right now, and we definitely need to get more iron production. Cool. So our private construction queue currently, debate. Honestly, the Catholic Church is willing to compromise on this. That's interesting. We'll take the 20% enactment success chance. That's really good. I'm surprised about that. Well, actually not so much that the Catholic Church is interested in the dedicated police force, I guess. Now that I think about it, yeah, that makes a fair amount of sense. So the landowners are currently neutral, and we would definitely like to continue to boost up their opinion. It'll take a little bit of time. More gold has been discovered in Minas Gerais, and we are going to take the goldfields building throughput. Goldfields are temporary, and we don't actually care about getting more migration to Minas Gerais, so we're going to take the goldfield throughput. And I want to take a look, just to make absolutely certain that we don't have any gold mines to build. We absolutely do not, and let's check in on these goldfields' employment. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So we're going to be producing a fair amount of additional gold. Yeah, that looks very, very solid. And we're going to have this iron mine done in 1 week, and then the artillery foundry will be finishing shortly thereafter. We're very far behind in our construction queue. No doubt about it. We've got a long ways to go. There's another iron mine being worked on here. I think that's because we're finishing this private construction. Yes. Okay, that's fine. That was a temporary thing. Okay. So a clandestine meeting organized by members of the intelligentsia has been discovered. While they swear that the purpose was purely financial, many are those who suspect their connection to the assassination plotters. Honestly, I don't think it's the intelligentsia. I think it's the landowners. So we're going to not monitor the intelligentsia. I'm 99% sure it's the landowners. So we've got 8 more ticks here. Okay. Well, we're working on dedicated police force. Hopefully that gets done fairly soon. The artillery foundry is going to be done in 2 weeks here. And we have no input goods shortages right now, but we're definitely going to need more iron. No doubt about that. So the artillery foundry is finishing up as of right now. Cool. This number is fake. Ignore this. That's more like it. However, that is high enough that we can get a construction sector. And I really want to get a construction sector. We're going to build this in Sao Paulo for now. Okay. We need to get our construction going faster. There's no doubt about that. So getting this online would be great. And dedicated police force has gone up to voting. That's really good too. To be clear, we're probably going to dip negative for a little bit as we get this construction sector finished up. It'll be a little rough. Iron will be a thing. Tools might be a thing too. We'll keep an eye on that. Market access is something that needs to get dealt with. No doubt about that. I'd like to get to the point where we are constructing at least 2 buildings at once. I mean, we are with our private construction, but I mean 2 government constructions at once. That would be ideal. But we'll see. For now, that iron mine needs to get finished up, and we're going to get that construction sector populated up. Everything looks relatively good for now. I do expect to go into a deficit briefly here, but we've got lots of gold reserves, and it'll be a very small deficit. We've hit 7 million on our GDP now. That is definitely climbing nicely. And we absolutely need to continue that GDP growth. So that looks good. 10 weeks on this iron mine. And I'm assuming that we're probably pretty much full on our construction here now. Yeah. So this is the best that, or rather the worst that we're going to get. Minus 353. That is not bad. It's not going to get too much worse. It'll shift around as prices do, but that is not bad at all. As far as a deficit goes, we'll take it. So an iron mine construction here will be good, and we're going to be finishing up railways. That is a very, very big research for us, but we need additional constructions before we can really get those railways online. Bureaucratic imbroglio at this point? Oh my. Well, we'll lose a little bit of success chance, I guess. That's not ideal. But it's not the end of the world. How are we doing on our assassination attempt? Well, there's railways unlocked. Yeah, that is definitely going to be a thing that we want to get going. For now, what do we want to go for next? I feel like we really need to be focusing on production at this moment. Our GDP is not good, and I would very much like to fix that. Bessemer process would not be bad once we get steel mills online. That also leads to reinforced concrete, which would be good for a construction sector building throughput. And would also eventually lead to pneumatic tools, and then down to arc welding. Eventually. That's a very long ways away, right? No doubt about that. But that seems like that would be pretty good. Another good one would be nitroglycerin into dynamite to be able to get ourselves additional resource discovery chance, as well as, but we need intensive agriculture for that, don't we? Yeah, we do. So we need to wait on that. As well as additional production from our mines. That would be very good. No doubt about that. Steam donkeys also, intensive agriculture needs to come through. That'll be very, very soon. I think we're going to go for Bessemer process for now. Although the water tube boiler is an interesting option as well. We don't have any steel mills right now. We do have mines. Let's go for the water tube boiler for now. That'll be okay. So, we're going to get this iron mine completed. 3,174 weeks on our steel mill, huh? Well, that's 0.2 construction. That's not shocking. Okay, so let's get this all wrapped up here. We're going to be working on that steel mill. This is actually putting a little bit of construction into the iron mine. Very, very little, to be clear. Very, very little. But it is actually putting a little bit in there, I think. It is. Okay, so we are technically constructing 2 buildings at once now. Technically. Barely, but technically. I like it. That's very good. We, of course, need to develop getting that done faster, but that's a very good sign. That's a very, very good sign. So I like it. We're going to want to go further on that for sure. Minus 272 on iron is deeply, deeply unsurprising, and to be honest, we probably want to get another iron mine first. I'm going to build this in Minas Gerais for now due to the infrastructure, and we're going to put that right up on the top here, just like that. Okay, so something like this. This is plus 11.1% construction efficiency. Okay, so that is why this is only taking 22.4, and it's now putting 2.4 into this steel mill due to that construction efficiency bonus. So that seems very, very good. We definitely want another iron mine done before we get this steel mill done, and that is going to be the goal here. So that seems fine. We are up to 7.2 million in our GDP now, and also... Oh, we got assassinated. We were aware of a plot, but we're unable to stop it. How close were we? We must have been incredibly close to getting that done. If dedicated police force hadn't have hit that stall, I think we would have gotten it. Well, Pedro is dead, and Felipe is our new emperor. So that means that Magnanimous Monarch is going to fail, I believe. Okay, yes. In a bloodless coup, the armed forces and landowners have overthrown the monarchy of Felipe and proclaimed a presidential republic. So that was expected. That was the outcome that was going to happen with Magnanimous Monarch. So we now have landed voting, and we now have a presidential republic. Okay. It's not super shocking that that happened, to be clear. We are negative in our bureaucracy at this moment, and we'll see if that changes. I want to check our taxation capacity. That seems reasonable for now. And who is our president at this point? This guy. Okay. Seems fine. So for the moment, I'm not too concerned about that. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. Not much changes. With the possible exception of our government, actually. I want to check here. We're a contested government 70. Okay. So currently in power are the landowners, armed forces, intelligentsia, industrialists, and petite bourgeoisie. Sounds good. Now dedicated police force passes. I see how it is. Okay. So, what do we want to go for next? Well, we would like to get off of landed voting. I'm willing to bet that this is going to make the landowners very, very angry if we went to, say, census suffrage. Interesting. They're at plus 20 opinion right now. That's very interesting. So this would just bring them down to 0. I kind of like it. We can't go for universal suffrage because we don't have egalitarianism. And we only have an 11% chance to progress this. I want to try it and see what happens. The Great Molasses Flood. Okay. So, food industry's building throughput, or a bunch of radicalism. We're going to take the throughput reduction for now, I guess. It's not great, but okay. So we still need to integrate the Brazilian nation. We'll see if we get this done. Okay, so they are, in fact, revolutionary, but they're only at 58 radicalism for right now. Okay, I'm going to capitulate. We're going to say no on this one for now. I just wanted to see what they'd do. Cool. So that's fine for the moment. I just wanted to see what they'd do. Now let's check in on perhaps exiting like agrarianism and going for laissez-faire. That would radicalize the rural folk. But do we care? Possibly. We're probably okay to stay on agrarianism. I do want to get a law change here. We're on censorship right now. No one wants to go to right of assembly. Fair enough. We're on freedom of conscience right now. Total separation would be okay, but that would radicalize the Catholics. Not surprising. So do we want to do any law changes is a question we should ask at this point. A lot of this is pretty much where we want it to be honest. We're on mercantilism right now. We could think about free trade, but do we even want that? How much bureaucracy are we spending on trade? Like, none? Okay. Nobody would hate free trade that much, though. I mean, we would lose money. We are currently running a deficit, so maybe we shouldn't do any law changes for the time being. Okay, so our gold company is not actually doing anything. I'm noting. We can't disband them until 1853, so we'll see. They're only apparently getting the 2 gold mines. They're not getting anything from gold fields. I assumed that they would get things from gold fields as well. Apparently that is not the case, so that is definitely noted. So we have a fair amount of construction inefficiency at this moment. I'm going to move up this government administration since we are negative in our bureaucracy, and we should definitely work on that. Okay, so we're going to have some turmoil. This is not surprising. Intensive agriculture has been unlocked. Okay, so we've got some potential production methods, and we may want to consider going through these. Sweeteners would be okay for our food industries. Okay. Actually, we should go through every single one of these. Craftsman sewing here would cap the price of silk. Understood. Okay, so we'll skip that one for now. Leaded glass. We would need lead. We do have that lead mine that was partially in production. So that is a theoretical thing. I think for the moment we'll hold off on that. Motor industries, of course, we're going to need to work on. But we want to get down to these farms. So soil enriching farming, that's going to require more fertilizer. We don't have access to fertilizer right now. Fig orchards. Mediocre. Harvesting tools? We don't have tools. Like, we can't do a lot of these things. However, atmospheric engine pumps is definitely interesting here. That'll make a lot of problems with tools and coal, right? No doubt about that. But what if we were to come in and do rail transportation? Well, that will require additional transportation. We don't have any of that. We have basically nothing right now, and we need to build it from the ground up. Which is why we've been building so many iron mines. We need lots and lots of iron. So I want to move these lead mines up to about here and have it be about like this. Crystal glass is spreading to us. Okay. Authority is currently negative slightly. That's fine for the moment. Maybe we want to... We're not suppressing the landowners. Okay, noted. Well, we need to get through this queue. And it's going to be slower than it would have been without that coup. That said, the construction efficiency is improving. So if we look over here at the turmoil... Okay, yeah. Well, we definitely would want to raise up our law enforcement. Unfortunately for us, we can't do that because we don't have the bureaucracy. There are so many little areas where we're being held back by what we have built right now. And we'll get there. We will get there. It is time to put a cut in here, though, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to work our way through these issues and just one by one chip away at them until we are definitely in a much better situation. That's going to take some time, though. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Tommy, Kintogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.